So here I am back with another episode of Comic Book Corner, where I take a look at the comic books that I've picked up recently. So I've been to my comic shop and I've picked up this stuff here. The stuff packaged in the brown bags is stuff that I've purchased over eBay over time, and now I've gone and picked them up, and the other stuff is from my standing order. Now my standing order, now we'll get into that in a minute. Let's cue the intro. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel to another episode of my Comic Book Corner. Taking a look at the comics that I've picked up over the past however long since I've last been to the comic shop. Now, I do have a standing order in place at the comic shop. That is this little bit of stuff here. But the majority of it is eBay purchases because of the choice of covers and the like. And I'm not very good with my standing order at the moment. But let's get into it. So first of all, we're going to go through this little pile here before we start opening up these packages one at a time, taking a look at what's in there. So let me adjust the camera so we can take a gander. Okay, so like I said, let's take a look at this little bundle here, this bundle of joy. So first up on the top, I picked this up in store, and it is a metallic cover version of a reprint of The Incredible Hulk, issue 161. Now, I will probably have another one of these in the bag that isn't metallic but standard. And this actually reprints the very first appearance of Wolverine. It's a comic that's worth a lot of money, the original version, obviously. And this is a facsimile edition, but it reprints all of the adverts that were inside and stuff like that. And as you can see, you know, you can see the difference in artwork and adverts and all that with the sort of stuff that you get today. Comics are a lot more wordy back then, you know. Comic books back then actually took a bit of time to read because there was a fair bit of dialogue. Now, unfortunately, because of the younger generation's attention spans, it's more visceral and less wordy than ever. But yeah, so this here is that very first appearance of Wolverine in The Incredible Hulk, who obviously went on to become one of the most, or nay, the most popular X-Men. Who would have thought it, eh? So next up, we have issue 1 of The Web of Carnage. Yeah, Carnage is quite big in comic books at the moment. Obviously, you will know him if you're a, well, I'm assuming as you're watching this, you're a comic book fan. Yeah, Marvel seem to be doing a lot with Carnage at this current moment in time. Captain America finale. What's that about? Anyway. Yeah, so issue 1 of The Web of Carnage. Interesting. Then we have 20th Century Fox Studios, Marvel Comics, Alien, issue number 4 of, you know, they do mini-series of them basically, and it's issue 4, the newer mini-series. I used to read the Alien comics under Dark Horse when Dark Horse had the license for a very, very long time, since the late 80s, early 90s it was. I do have them comics from way back then. Obviously, Marvel bought 20th Century Fox, and thusly it became their property. Disney, bought 20th Century Fox. Disney owned Marvel. So it stood to reason that Marvel would start with the Alien and Predator franchises in comic books, and Dark Horse would lose that license, which was a shame, but there we go. Dark Horse done some great stuff with the Alien franchise. Next up, we have issue 1 of Batman Beyond Neo Gothic. Yeah, I quite like this. this Batman Beyond, these Batman Beyond comic books that they're doing. Keeps me away as much as I can from proper Batman, because I think there's an oversaturation of Batman in film, TV, which puts me off of reading the comics, I'll be honest. So to read a different Batman is, yeah, it sort of makes sense to me. That's issue 1 of that. Then we have from Titan, Blade Runner 2039, issue 5. Again, from Titan, I do enjoy immensely these Blade Runner comics. I like the world of Blade Runner. And yeah, I get enjoyment out of these comics as well. What can I say? I like the way they've led up to the films. You've had Blade Runner 2019, 2029, 2039, and then you've got the film 2049. Another 20th Century Fox Studio comic, or from Marvel, Predator, issue 5. Again, Dark Horse Comics had the franchise previously. Okay, look, J. Michael Straczynski is coming on to write in Captain America, and we've done a fabulous run on Spider-Man, and obviously Babylon 5, the TV show. So that might be worth my reading. I might give that the time of day because of the writer. And why not? Yeah. Obviously, we are getting a Predator versus Wolverine comic book very soon. It's about time Marvel done something with the Predator and Alien characters in their own universe, since they have the license. Then we have Ghost Rider, Cosmic Ghost Rider, the continuing story of Frank Castle. Frank Castle, the Punisher. Yes, if you didn't know, and you don't read it, Frank Castle, the Punisher, is the Cosmic Ghost Rider. So, yeah. Maybe that's where Marvel want Frank Castle to be now. Who knows? No, Frank Castle will make a comeback as the Punisher. We know that. Of course he will. He's going to have to. The end. We shall see. And then we have Cult of Carnage Misery, issue 3. Like I said, doing a lot with Carnage at the moment. Spider books always tend to sell quite well for Marvel anyway. So, yeah. But no, it's a shame they screwed him up in the movie. So let's have a look what we've got in some of these, shall we? In some of these packets. Let's take this thin one first and see what's inside. 2 comics in here. Bagged and boarded. Let's take a look at what they are. So the first one, I don't know, is... Okay. A Gun Honey series Heatseeker. Issue 1. I do have the previous 2 Gun Honey comic series, mini-series from Titan Comics. Sort of comic noir. Noir-esque. And, yeah, they're pretty good. I did get the graphic novels as well. Yeah. Next issue. Look at that. Look at that cover. So there we have that. And also in there we have a Zenescope, issue 3 of Cinderella. Queen of Hearts. So this is why I buy these online. So I'm just putting this metallic into a boarded bag to give it some protection. This is why I pick covers, because then we get a choice of when there's variant covers, and so I buy them online like that. Zenescope I have sort of been with since day one. I got the very first issues of Grimm Fairy Tale comics when, you know, they were little and no one was buying them, and probably had a print run of about 5 copies or something stupid like that. I wonder how much that very first issue of Grimm Fairy Tales is worth now. Very, very rare, hard to get a hold of. Obviously we're showing issue 73 there, but that is of a, you know, it restarted at issue 1 again at one point. Yeah. So let's open up the next little bag. What's in here? Well, actually another Zenescope Grimm title, which is Belle. Okay, so there we have issue, just a one-off. I think this might be a one-off. Ancient Instincts. It doesn't tell me it's a part 1. Like I said, I would have bought this online. I can't remember when. Unfortunately, with online, if I buy something that gets withheld and I have to wait a couple of months for, then the whole package I have to wait a couple of months for, because it's all part of one order. It's kind of held. Okay, so then we have Lady Death. This is World War Death, Chapter 16, Part 2. Yeah, official tie-in to World War Death, whatever that is, I don't know. Lady Death, I do have the film, I have the DVD of Lady Death. It was an animated film that they done. Yeah, 30th anniversary of Lady Death, wow, she's been going that long. Who would have thought it? Anyway, next up, we have Red Sonja. It's a new issue 1 of Red Sonja, and this is a, they call this a sort of toy variant, so it's like a toy box, the figure inside. Yeah. Again, I like Dynamite's Vampirella and Red Sonja comics. Red Sonja certainly does need a new film. I know there's rumours of it, but there has been for a long, long time. So it would be nice to see Dynamite get their own film sort of series off the ground with some of these characters, if they could. Then we have here issue 1 of Star Wars Rebellion. It's a trap. It's Admiral Ackbar. For the Empire to succeed, Mon Mothma must die. Now, I don't read many a Star Wars comic, to be fair. But I do with some of these, because they're just one-offs. They're just one-off comics. One and done, sort of a thing. One and done read. So we open up the next one. We shall indeed see what is within. Okay, here we have another metallic cover for Power Girl. She's a Superman character. DC. And I think I've actually got this, or I have got this already. So I actually bought a couple of these metallic ones by accident. By accident, in that I hadn't realised that I'd bought it earlier on, online, and then bought it again online. But there we go. I'm sure I've not done that many a time. Actually, more than what I'd wish to say. Not very good at keeping track anymore. Ever since COVID, it's very difficult to keep track. Then we have the Punisher issue 12, which is the last issue of the current Punisher series. This is a variant cover. Well, it's one of the covers. I do have, this came out a month or so ago, and this is what sort of finished Frank Castle off, shall we say. He's in, no one knows where he went. Punisher's gone, missing, and his wife goes off with his money, even though she's back from the dead. And Frank himself, in an epilogue, ends up in Weird World. Yeah, sod that. Yeah, I weren't happy with that. Then we have an issue of Spider-Man 2099, Dark Genesis. It's issue 5. It's a variant cover. Again, a character that I really like is Spider-Man 2099. Did I say 2099 or 2025 earlier? I don't know. It's 2099. I like Spider-Man 2099. I like the look of him, the design, up until they changed his suit. Although the art in here is something to be, questioned. It's not the greatest art. But I like there's Punisher 2099 there. Jake Gallows. Just abysmal art. It looks like it's been drawn really small and then blown up. Marvel just don't seem to care who they get to draw their comics. That's the final issue of that mini-series. And then here we have the latest issue of Gunslinger Spawn, issue 22. One of the Spawn spin-off titles. And again, I love the world of Spawn. Consistently decent comic that I used to read for a long time, then went off and I've sort of come back to. And I'm picking up the Spawn Omnibus editions when they get being released to fill the gaps. But I did start, well, I'm going to get them all actually. But yeah, I like Spawn. I've got a lot of figures, Spawn figures as well. Then we have a photo cosplay variant edition of Vampirella Strikes, issue 13. Again, like I said, I do like the Dynamite's, Vampirellas and Red Sonja's comics. I think I like reading these because they're not associated to any TV or film. The abundance of DC and Marvel content on TV kind of drove me away from a lot of the comics. So I get more enjoyment out of reading comics that are not associated to a film or TV franchise. So there's only one comic in this bag here. Then we've got 2 more bags after that. So let's take a look at what this singular one is. Could it be a double of something? Like I said, I've made that mistake more than once. Oh no, okay. Void Rivals. This is from Image. Now this sort of came out of nowhere for me because it's a Transformer on the front, and I was like, okay, no one knew that Transformers were. Whoops, knocked the camera over. No one knew that the Transformers were coming under Image. I don't know if Image has got the license. I'm still not entirely sure what's going on. This is written by Robert Kirkman, who's the creator of The Walking Dead. So, and obviously that's Jetfire on the cover. So I was very intrigued as to goings on here and what this is all about. So I'm going to read this. One of my first reads because Robert Kirkman's a good writer. And yeah, I just don't know what... Jetfire. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. look, Transformers issue 1. Wow, okay. Interesting. Yeah, Robert Kirkman's all-new Transformers and G.I. Joe Shared Universe continues every month in Void Rivals. And these upcoming releases. Okay, I'm intrigued. So let's open up the next bag. See what's in here. Early doubles. Let's flip them over. Okay, so we have here a Robin Hood annual. Robin with a Y. 66 page of content from Zenescope. This is part of that Grimm Fairy Tales universe of comics. Now, yes, they have fantastic covers like this, but the content inside isn't in any way, shape or form raunchy or X-rated in any way. It's literally a comic book. There's no nudity within. I will give it to Zenescope and Dynamite for at least still allowing women, you know, albeit the perfect example of a woman, to be women on the covers of their comics, as opposed to individuals that are more questionable, have a questionable look about their sexuality. Marvel tend to do that, or did go through a phase of doing that. So yeah, that's good. And keeping with that Grimm Fairy Tales, I have 2 issues here of the Grimm Fairy Tales swimsuit special. 2 covers. I didn't know what cover to go for, so ultimately I went for both. So I'll put one aside because the content of the comic is exactly the same. It's just a variant cover. So now generally with these you have small story, and then just pages of art. Which are probably utilised on some of the covers, some of the variant covers, etc. Yeah. There we go. Now this is, I picked this up just because of interest. And this is a comic called Dark Legacies. And clearly on the front is, well, it's Claudia Christian's Dark Legacies, and that is Claudia Christian, Lieutenant Commander of Ivanova in Babylon 5. And this is from Scratch Comics, who's a comic company I've never heard of, I don't believe. I picked it up out of curiosity, shall we say. So it's a sci-fi comic, so it looks. Yeah. Here we have it. So let's open it up, this last bag. Last bag of comic books for this time around. What do we have in here? So we start off with a Ghost Rider. So, Ghost Rider, issue 15, legacy number 258. Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider. Okay, so yeah, there we have Ghost Rider. What more can I say? Character of cool concept. Although Danny Ketch is my Ghost Rider. And then we have issue 4 of Predator. from Marvel. What's not to like in a Predator comic? Come on. Except there not being much Predator. But no, seriously speaking. Yeah. Obviously issue 5 we had to look at earlier. So this bag here came out. I bought this bag before that. That came out. So what else do we have? We have here issue 14 of She-Hulk. But not only that, I also have issue 15 of She-Hulk. We'll take a look through one of them, because it's the same character. So issue 15 here is actually the finale. It's actually the last issue of this small run of She-Hulk comics. And what generally happens is when a Disney Plus series comes on, as She-Hulk did, around that time you get a new comic for whatever character's got a TV show. In this case it was She-Hulk, to try and get the viewers of the show to buy the comics. Then the comic ultimately comes to an end. The end for now. Then we have another Spawn spin-off. Scorched comic book, which again is set within that world of Spawn. Tom McFarlane's Spawn. Yeah, very good. Hold on. Knocking the camera there. Then we have issue 2 of Vampirella versus the Superpowers. From Dynamite Comics. Written by Dan Abnett, who's I believe he's a British writer. He used to write for Marvel UK a lot, I think. Transformers and things like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. Then we have issue 2 of the new Incredible Hulk series. Now, it does look like the Hulk's gone more sort of darker and horror-esque in this series here, which I like the look of. I think it suits the character, especially that sort of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde vibe to the character that you have. Yeah. So that's good. Then issue 2 here of the new Ultimate Invasion comic. Chapter 2, Down the Rabbit Hole. If you remember the Ultimates back in the day, well, quite a while ago now, the Ultimates, really. Nick Fury with a beard. When the Ultimates comics must have been, 2005, 2006, because that's why they cast Sam Jackson as Nick Fury in 2008, because of the Ultimates, because the likeness of Nick Fury in the Ultimate comics was Nick Fury was Sam Jackson. So yeah. And then we got one last comic book here. It's another swimsuit special, and it is for Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter, the computer game. There are Street Fighter comics, and this here is a swimsuit special for Street Fighter. Trying to do what Zenescope do, but to lesser effect, shall we say. Very cartoony and anime-esque kind of art in there. And unfortunately, they don't give you a little backup story either, which is highly unfortunate. But there we go. There we go. Right, so there we go. There we're done. That huge pile there, really. I've got a lot of reading ahead of me. It's a lot of comics. I really should cut down on comic books. I should, yeah. I really need to. But I'm off to read, first off, Void Rivals. Intriguing me. What are you reading at the moment? Let me know down below. Or has this video inspired you to pick up any series that's currently going that you haven't seen? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next one.